In the pantheon of Hollywood legends, few names shine as brightly as Sidney Poitier and Eddie Murphy. Poitier, the trailblazing icon who broke racial barriers with grace and gravitas, and Murphy, the comedic supernova who redefined mainstream entertainment, represent two distinct eras of black excellence in film. Yet, their paths crossed in a moment of candid advice that could have altered cinematic history. As revealed in the Apple TV Plus documentary Number 1 on the call sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood, Eddie Murphy once sought Sidney Poitier's counsel about joining the cast of Malcolm X to be met with a blunt, unforgettable response. "You are not Denzel, and you are not Morgan. You are a breath of fresh air, and don't fuck with that." This exchange, recounted by Murphy with a mix of amusement and bewilderment, offers a fascinating glimpse into the dynamics of mentorship, identity, and career-defining choices in Hollywood. It's a story that begs us to explore. What did Poitier mean? Why did he steer Murphy away from Malcolm X? And what might have happened if Murphy had ignored the advice? The setup: a role in Malcolm X. The year was somewhere in the late 1980s or early 1990s, and Malcolm X, the ambitious biopic based on the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley, was taking shape under director Norman Jewison. Known for helming Poitier's Oscar-winning In the Heat of the Night, Jewison envisioned a sweeping adaptation of the civil rights leader's life. Among the roles being cast was that of Alex Haley, the journalist and author whose collaboration with Malcolm X produced the seminal book. It was a supporting part, but one steeped in historical weight, a chance to step into the orbit of a towering figure. Enter Eddie Murphy. By this time, Murphy was a global superstar, having skyrocketed from Saturday Night Live to blockbuster hits like 48 Hours, Trading Places, and Beverly Hills Cop. At just 20 or 21, he'd conquered comedy with a brash, irreverent style that captivated audiences worldwide. His films weren't just hits, they were cultural juggernauts, grossing millions and cementing his status as a mainstream phenomenon. Yet, beneath the laughter, there was untapped potential. Could Murphy, the king of comedy, pivot to drama? The offer to play Alex Haley dangled that possibility. They were talking about doing Malcolm X, Murphy recalled in the documentary. Norman Jewison was putting it together. They were gonna use the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley. And they approached me about playing Alex Haley. It was a tantalizing prospective chance to flex new muscles, to stand alongside a story of profound social impact. But before he could commit, fate intervened in the form of Sidney Poitier. The encounter: Poitier's blunt wisdom. Picture the scene: a Hollywood event buzzing with stars and power players. Murphy, still mulling over the Malcolm X offer, spots Poitier, the man who'd shattered ceilings, as the first Black Best Actor Oscar winner for Lilies of the Field in 1964. Poitier was more than an actor. He was a symbol of dignity, a beacon for Black artists navigating a segregated industry. For a young Murphy, this was a golden opportunity to seek guidance from an elder statesman. "I bumped into Sidney Poitier at something," Murphy said, "and I asked him, 'Yeah, I'm thinking about playing Alex Haley.' He likely expected encouragement, perhaps a nod of approval. Instead, Poitier delivered a verbal curveball. 'You are not Denzel Washington, and you are not Morgan Freeman. You are a breath of fresh air, and don't from an out.'" With that, Murphy's reaction? I didn't know if it was an insult or a compliment. I was like, "What?" Poitier's words were sharp, direct, and layered with meaning. He name-checked Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman, two actors who, by the early 90s, were carving out reputations as dramatic heavyweights. Washington had already earned an Oscar nod for Cry Freedom, 1987, and One for Glory, 1989, while Freeman was building gravitas in films like Driving Miss Daisy, 1989. Poitier seemed to be drawing a line. Those men were built for the weighty, soul-stirring roles Malcolm X demanded. Murphy, in his view, was something else entirely: a vibrant, singular force who thrived in uncharted waters. Decoding the advice: compliment or caution? So, what was Poitier really saying? On the surface, it might sound like a dismissal. "You're not cut out for this." But dig deeper, and it's a testament to Murphy's unique brilliance. "You are a breath of fresh air" isn't faint praises, a recognition of his groundbreaking appeal. At a time when Black actors were often pigeonholed, Murphy defied categorization. He wasn't the stoic hero or the sage elder. He was the wisecracking everyman who made the world laugh on his terms. Poitier, who'd spent his career fighting for respect in a rigid system, saw Murphy as a new archetype Hollywood hadn't seen before. Murphy himself reflected on this in the documentary. "I was in uncharted waters. For Sidney and all those guys, when I showed up, it was something kinda new. They didn't have a reference for me. They couldn't give me advice, because I was 20, 21 years old, and my audience was the mainstream all of everywhere. My movies were all around the world, and they had never had that with a young black person." Poitier's advice then wasn't about limitation, it was about preservation. "Don't risk diluting what makes you special," he seemed to say. "Stay the course." Yet, there's another angle. Malcolm X was a passion project for many in the black community, and its journey to the screen was fraught with tension. Jewison's involvement sparked debate. Should a white director helm such a culturally significant story? By 1991, Spike Lee took over, casting Washington as Malcolm and cutting Haley's role entirely. Poitier, attuned to the stakes, might have sensed that Murphy, known for comedy, could face scrutiny or struggle to shift gears in a film demanding raw intensity. Was he protecting Murphy from a potential misstep? The road not taken. What if? Let's indulge in a bit of speculation. Had Murphy joined Malcolm X under Jewison's direction, the film might have taken a different shape. Imagine him as Haley, bringing wit and charisma to the biographer's quiet strength. It could have been a breakout dramatic turn, years before his Oscar-nominated role in Dreamgirls, 2006. Perhaps it would have accelerated his evolution into a versatile leading man, blending humor with depth. But the reality unfolded differently. Jewison stepped aside. Lee took the reins, and Washington delivered a tour-de-force performance, earning a Best Actor nomination in 1993. Malcolm X became a cultural milestone, lauded for its unflinching portrayal of the activist life. Murphy, meanwhile, continued his comedic reign with hits like Boomerang, 1992, The Nutty Professor, 1996, and Dr. Dolittle, 1998. Poitier's advice, intentionally or not, kept Murphy on a path that solidified his legacy as a box office titan. Still, the what if lingers. Murphy later proved his dramatic Chop Cheese Dreamgirls role showcased a vulnerability that stunned audiences. Could Malcolm X have been an earlier proving ground? Or would it have disrupted the meteoric rise that Poitier sought to safeguard? Beyond Poitier, Murphy's Hollywood elders. The Malcolm X anecdote isn't the only gem from Murphy's documentary reflections. He also shared quirky advice from other icons. James Brown, the godfather of soul, told him to stop cursing. "You want to be in this business a long time? Stop that cursing," and suggested burying $1 million in the woods to hide it from the government. "That's the kind of advice I used to get," Murphy laughed. "We didn't have a lot of elders." It's a poignant note. As a pioneer in his own right, Murphy often navigated Hollywood without a roadmap. Poitier, though, stood apart. His words carried the weight of experience, a bridge between his generation's struggles and Murphy's triumphs. Whether a compliment or a caution, his advice left an indelible mark, legacy and reflection. Today, as of the 6th of April, 2025, Eddie Murphy remains a Hollywood juggernaut, his films collectively grossing billions. Sidney Poitier, who passed in 2022, is revered as a pioneer whose dignity paved the way for stars like Murphy and Washington. Their Malcolm X moment is a snapshot of mentorship, at a crossroads, a reminder that even legends grapple with doubt and direction. For fans, it's a delicious what if to ponder. For Murphy, it's a story he tells with a grin. Still unsure if Poitier was ribbing him or raising him up. Maybe it was both. In the end, Murphy stayed true to his breath of fresh air essence, and Hollywood's all the richer for it.